Now, in part one of this little mini series, we dispelled three of the myths that tend to lead parents to think that they're never going to have any time to themselves once they start homeschooling. In today's video, we're going to talk about three different ways that you can make sure you are getting time by yourself. Now, one thing you do have to remember is that, yes, homeschooling is a time sacrifice. If you've been sending your kids to school and they've been leaving the house at 7:30 and not coming home until 4, okay, you're not going to get that big of a block of time by yourself when you homeschool. You just won't, at least not on a daily basis. But it does not mean that you're not going to get any time. It just means that you're going to have to kind of rework the kind of time that you're taking for yourself when you're taking it and making sure that you are still getting done the things that need to be done. Homeschooling is a sacrifice. So is parenting, but it is so worth it. To make sure you get the time you need, the first thing you need to do is make sure you are partnering with people. Now, hopefully your spouse is on board with homeschooling and is willing to step up and help a little bit more than they typically do. They need to realize that you're essentially taking on a part-time job. If you have multiple kids, it's going to feel like a full-time job. And so they need to realize, okay, you're both working a job. That means that you both need to be able to split all the other responsibilities to make sure that they get done. Now, in the previous video, we talked about the fact that every child should have some kind of chore that they're doing, so it's not all on your plate. But whatever is left needs to be delegated equally between you and your spouse or whoever else might be living in your house to help you. Maybe that's cooking, maybe it's cleaning, maybe it's actually doing some of the homeschool. Just because your spouse works during the day doesn't mean they can't do some homeschool at night or on the weekends. There are ways that you can split it up so that you're not the only one delivering all the instruction and taking care of all of the cleaning. Now, another way that you can partner with people is to get together with other homeschool moms and take turns doing kid swaps. So maybe this week you take everybody's kids for the afternoon. So all the other moms can go hang out. Your kids play. You're not homeschooling them. You're just kind of having a giant play date at your house, right? And then next week, one of the other moms will take everybody's kids, including yours, so that you get the afternoon off. Every homeschool mom knows what it's like to need a little bit of a breather and to need a little bit of time. And the introverted ones are going to be very empathetic, if you too are an introvert, to the fact that you have got to recharge. So getting everybody together so that your kids can play, once they're doing their own thing, the parent really doesn't need to do much other than supervise and make sure that nobody gets hurt, right? So it's not like the parent is having to do more work. They're just having all the friends over. Kids go play. The mom can probably go and take advantage of the fact that her child is occupied too and maybe get some things done around the house. And so if you keep doing this every week, you know you're always going to have an opportunity to have a little bit of downtime so that you can get a break. Now, another opportunity to delegate would be to get together with one, maybe two other parents to create your own little mini co-op. Now, typical co-ops that have lots of families, you're not really doing downtime because every parent is working during that time in one way or another. But recently I was part of a co-op with two other families and I taught one subject. And while I was teaching all the kids at once, the other parents could go do their own thing. And then when I was done, I gave all the kids over to one of the other parents. And then I had that free time. So I would bring my laptop and I would sit on their back porch and I would work until the kids were done working with all the parents. And then we could go. And so, yes, it did take most of one of our days, but I was not teaching that whole time. I was doing my own thing for actually most of it. A little bit of teaching and then rest time for me. And another added benefit of that is that your kids are getting together with other kids. So in both of those situations, your kids are also getting some socialization. And heaven knows that is something that parents are always worried about when they start homeschooling. When is my kid going to see other kids? Well, here's an opportunity to kill two birds with one stone. Another way that you can delegate and get a little more time for yourself is by registering your kids for some extracurriculars. Now, those might be actual extracurricular classes, things like, a sport or dance or, instrument or theater, whatever. But it might also be core classes where maybe you're signing them up for a math class or a science class, something that you're not excited to teach in the first place, and you're more than happy to let somebody else do the teaching for you. These are typically drop-off programs, right? You drop your child off and you come pick them up later. And during that time, you can do whatever you want to do. Go get yourself a coffee, bring a book and go to a park, go just do grocery shopping by yourself, right? Whatever it is that you want to do, Yes, it's not a whole afternoon necessarily, although there are programs where you can sign them up for a whole bunch of classes in a row, and you can even get an entire day to yourself if you want. But even if it's just for an hour, sometimes that's all we need to just recline the driver's side of your car, lay back for a while, put some music on, and just relax. Now, the last tool I want to talk about is not so much about something you can actively do with your kids. It's more about something you need to do for yourself. One of the reasons that moms get so burned out is because we have so much on our plates. We tend to say yes to everything because it's kind of been ingrained in us that the mom is the one who makes things happen for the whole family. It's kind of unfair, though, right? Why should all of that land on one person? We as moms need to be better about setting boundaries with our time, about saying no to things, even if it means that your child needs to miss an opportunity here or there. One of the things that a lot of parents will do, particularly moms, once they start homeschooling, is sign their child up for everything imaginable because they feel like they have to make up for the fact that their child is not in school all the time and seeing kids all the time. And so they'll put them in this class and this class and this activity and that activity. And suddenly, mom is running a taxi service and barely even has time to homeschool because her children are doing so much and she is running herself ragged getting her kids to these activities. Not only is this draining you, but it is setting a very bad precedent for your kids. It makes them think they have to do this much, that this is important in life to constantly be busy. We need to show our children that it is important to have margins in your schedule, white space on your planner, that not every minute of the day is scheduled to the hilt, and that in order to take care of ourselves, that sometimes means having to say no to other people, and that is okay. So if you, like me, tend to say yes to everything because you're a people pleaser, because you want your kids to be able to do stuff, you know what? Your kids are going to be okay if you say no to that next activity. They may not like it, they may not seem like they're okay, but kids can get used to disappointment every once in a while. It's not going to kill them. They need to see a mom who is setting boundaries and taking care of herself and modeling for them that it is okay to say no. It is okay to have downtime. It is okay to rest. Our children need to learn how to rest. We need to learn how to rest. So if you haven't started homeschooling yet, I hope this has shown you that there are ways that you can make sure you are not constantly in people's space all the time and that you do get some downtime. Please like and subscribe if you found this video helpful. Make sure you go watch part 1 if you haven't done that yet, and I will talk to you again soon. Enjoy your coffee. Bye.